All right, a very good evening, everybody from the controllers, or not from the controller scopes, from the Twitch sphere. Anyways, I'm not on the controller scopes today, but today we are on. We are live on Twitch here with Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're going to do something different. So most of you guys have seen me for the last little while do a lot of pilot live streams. And it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy doing them, but I thought I would do something a little different this evening. And let me just get myself up there. Good evening, everybody, and welcome on board. So yeah, it's been a little while since I've had a chance to do a lot of streaming of anything besides a pilot's life. And I just thought, you know, the end of season 11 was just a perfect chance to take just a little break from constantly flying jetliners, and let's just completely go the other end of the spectrum. And this is something that I really do enjoy in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've done it. I haven't done it a whole lot, as you can see here. I've got a bunch that are just not even started. So, but I thought I would just be a little bit of fun. Like I said, like let's go and do something that's almost the polar opposite of my pilot's life career of flying the jetliners high, fast, and far. And instead, let's go and do a bush trip. And so I've zeroed in on one that I kind of wanted to do. It's been recommended to me. I have one friend that told me that it's a really good trip, and he had a lot of fun doing it. So I kind of want to do this one in Patagonia. I know it's not new. I know probably some of you have done it before, but it's just so much fun. These trips are so much fun. But the way Microsoft has put them together, Sobo's put them together, they're very... they're challenging. They're not so challenging you can't accomplish them, but there's just a lot of fun. It's to me, it's like a treasure hunt. It gives you clues. It doesn't tell you directly how to get from point A to point B. You have to kind of figure it out yourself. So this is the one I've been looking at. And it's got the Cub Crafters X-Cub as the aircraft you have to fly for this, which is just exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for. Just something where we're going to be cruising low and slow over the landscape, really enjoying just enjoying looking out the window, trying to enjoy the scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and just something just very different from what I've done in the past. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this tonight. I hope the volume level's okay. I hope I'm not talking too loud or anything. But yeah, let's go hop into this and let's do this. So for those of you who haven't done these before, these are basically, it's a prescribed trip that's been set up by Asobo to kind of explore the scenery in various parts of the world. And with each world update, they keep adding a few more bush trips that kind of highlight the new world updates. So, for example, the Caribbean update just came down the other day, and they added 3 bush trips in the Caribbean. But I've had my eye on this one for a little while. I really want to do this one. The Caribbean one sounded kind of fun, and it sounded like a great way to explore the scenery, but I really want to just go and do this one and get this one kind of at least started, if not done. Now, it's long. The total length of this bush trip is supposed to be something on the order of 8 hours to do, because you're covering 700 miles in a Cub. So you're not getting anywhere fast, but that's the point, is to enjoy the trip, enjoy the journey along the way. We wouldn't do this whole thing in one stream. My plan is to split this off and do it over a couple streams over several evenings in the next couple of weeks, and do a couple of legs every night, as much as time permits, as much as my energy level permits, etc. So that's kind of what we're doing. So. This one is Patagonia, so the Patagonian region of South America, basically starting almost from the southern tip of South America, flying up the western side of South America, more or less, from airstrip to airstrip with this Cub. As I said, 875 miles in total. It's supposed to be 7 to 8 hours to get it done in total. 14 legs. First leg here is Los Cerros to Tolhuin Lago Fagnano Airport, and I'm going to apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of these. I am not Spanish by any means, and I've never. In all honesty, I've never heard of a lot of these places, so if I say them wrong, I'm sorry, and please feel free to correct me if I am doing something wrong here. But let me just quickly get rid of this and this so I can just see what's going on here. But yeah, let's hop in. So this is the first flight, 31 miles, 14 minutes. It shouldn't take us too long to do. Hopefully, I've got everything set up here on my sim here. So there's the overall length of the trip, 886 miles, 8 hours, 51 minutes, depending on whether you believe this or the other title screen. But that kind of gives you an overlay. The southern tip of South America, off the way up in that corner, up just over here, just up the west coast until we get to Cochrane. So that's the whole length of this journey. Don't worry about those GSX messages. You're not going to find a whole lot of GSX services at a lot of these airports that we're going to. All right, hopefully you guys can hear that. To me, it sounds a little bit quiet, but I'm just going to try and turn up my... There we go. Just try and turn up the volume in my headset a little bit there. And the one thing I just don't like about this is it's kind of a little bit dark right now. Like I really almost need some light here. So let's just, before we get started on this, let's just see if we can't, first of all, just get a little bit of light going on, if there is even light available on this cabin. And that might, let's see here. There, that's a little better. At least I can see a little bit better. I just find that with the ambient lighting outside, that this is all just looking just a little bit on the dark side. And there we go. So we are sitting here in the on the runway, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to take off and we're going to follow the instructions on the screen here. So the nav log's got a lot of instructions. Oh, I don't like having those on the outside screen. Oh, I don't think I can remove them though on the bush trip, can I? I don't think I get access to options, or do I? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. No, you can't modify the options, the accessibility options for the bush trip. So unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck with these things. You kind of can't see half of them because half of them are behind my head here. The other half are behind my logo over there. But yeah, you're kind of stuck with these things, unfortunately. But that's okay. We can make this work. Let me just make sure my rudder pedals are in position here as well. What's going on? And the sim died. Really? Really? The sim died? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Well, at least we didn't get very far into it. Oh my gosh. One of those kind of days. Really? Well, now you guys get to watch the sim boot with me here. It's not fast because I've got so much going on in this bloody sim sometimes. Let me just see here if I can't maybe remove a few things here. All right. Continue in normal mode, and here we go, loading Microsoft Flight Simulator. You're going to sit here and watch me load this, unfortunately. Well, that was unexpected. That was unexpected for this evening. You try and do something, you try and set something up for a certain time to do something, and this is what you get sometimes. The sim just doesn't want to load. So I've tried to download a couple of my add-ons so that really we can focus on just getting into the sim quickly here. But so these are some of the screenshots for those of you that haven't seen it. Probably you mostly have by now for the Caribbean scenery. And I did download the Caribbean scenery. I'm probably going to fly it a little bit. I might do one of their bush tours as well, but I really want to do this Patagonia one. It really looked cool. It looked like a lot of fun. It's a bit long, but it looked like a lot of fun bombing around. I like the Piper X-Cub too. I think it's a fun little airplane to fly. I've flown it once before. There's at least one or two other bush trips that have used that aircraft, so it's a fun little aircraft to fly. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's a fun airport. It's a fun airplane to fly. It's very docile, very low and slow kind of aircraft, but lots of fun for that reason, I think, too. So, but I definitely would like to do some of those Caribbean bush trips as well. It looks like they've done a pretty nice job with the Caribbean overall from some of the screenshots. I haven't really done a whole lot of flying down there yet, but I've already picked the first legs for the next Pilot's Life career season, and there are a couple of legs in and out of the Caribbean. There is some stuff to San Juan and Nassau, I believe. San Juan or Nassau? San Juan and Nassau. I think I have both of those in there. I can't remember now, in all honesty. I did pick a series of legs to fly, so it is set up and ready to go. But I just wanted to do something different for a little while. I feel like I've done a lot of pilot's life streaming, and it's fun, but let's just do something a little different. So that's why we're in here. But yeah, I've been reading a little bit about the Caribbean update, and apparently a big emphasis in the Caribbean update was for the bathymetry around the Caribbean, because there's not that much land in the Caribbean. So how can you do a scenery update in the Caribbean that's really equivalent and worthwhile compared to some of the other scenery updates they've done without a lot of land? And one of the things that they did focus on, and you can kind of see it in the picture on the left here, is they focused on the water, on the bathymetry, which is the study of the depth the study of depth of water. So basically, the reverse of altimetry, where you can measure how high terrain is. So the whole idea is that you can see the depth of the water. You can see the shallow depths. You can see the coral reefs, the plant life under the water. That's the idea. Is you can see all of that shining through in the scenery. So they've put in a whole bunch of points of interest. Of course, as always, they've done some new airports, some new activities, and they've done a lot of emphasis on making the water around the island look really, really good. And I don't even know what island that is on the left, to be honest, but you can see kind of what they were working towards there with just the boat sitting on this just beautiful kind of emerald blue ocean out there. So that's some of the stuff that they want to emphasize in the Caribbean. And I think it's a great kind of region. There's a lot of diversity in the Caribbean for sure. So it's a great region, and it's a great region to fly through too, because there's a lot of great scenery. Yeah, there is just some flat water in between a lot of these islands, but some of these islands are absolutely beautiful. And it what am I trying to say? It's yeah, it's doesn't take that long to get around from place to place, because some of the islands are not particularly far apart. You can see them from one island to the next. So I kind of enjoyed the Hawaiian update for the same reason. I flew some of the Hawaiian missions as well, and that was kind of fun. The one in the 150 was a little bit slow and tedious at times, trying to cross open water, 20, 30, 40 miles of open water in a Cessna 150. Yeah, okay. You're kind of, in the real world, you'd certainly be looking for altitude and certainly checking the oil pressure gauge and everything pretty regularly. But yeah, there's been some really good bush trips. Some of the ones through California are also really nice as well. So they've done a great job of kind of showing off some of the great scenery that they've added on through some of these bush trips, and you get to explore some airports that you probably wouldn't even find. You probably wouldn't even notice that they were airports. In all honesty, I've done some of these trips, and the one in particular up California, they visit some bigger airports, but then it also visits just some small little dirt strips, and you literally have to look, and you're literally looking at this, and it's like, is that a runway? I kind of just see two parallel lines of vegetation. Is that a runway in between them? I guess that is. Like, some of them have been pretty hard to kind of nail down where the airport is, because they're just little strips just in the sandy desert, of northeastern California, of Eastern California, I should say. So it's been kind of fun. I'm just sitting here watching this load bar. Even on the best days, my computer does not load this in particularly quickly. I have tons of add-ons. I tend not to remove them all for every single flight, but this is the part that we then wait through, and I'm very frustrated with it now that I have to wait through this right now. In the meantime, maybe I could just send out a quick little YouTube message or prep it out just to my channel on YouTube here, see if we can allure in any fans to watch this here. Just give me 1 second while this finishes loading, if I can find. There we go. Community. All right, there's the music for a split second, so we must be pretty close. Just going to type out a really quick message, try and get to send out to my YouTube community, and hopefully a couple people will come and watch this live stream, and we'll have a little bit of fun here. Come on. And the menu loads now. Or now, or now. No. Most of the time I fire up my sim, I just walk away. I walk away for 10 minutes most of the time. I fire up the sim, and then I go and I make myself a cup of coffee or something like that, and I come back in 10 minutes and it's usually loaded. But I seldom sit here and watch the whole thing load, because it just takes too long. I've got so many add-ons. My computer's not particularly fast. That's the other flip side of the equation. My computer's not particularly fast, so the time it takes to load and kind of process these equations and load them all into not equations, but process all these add-ons and load them into memory, load their reference points into memory. It takes quite a while. So just noticing that my track IR sensor is way out of whack there. All right, here we go again. Let's do this. So activities, bush trip, Patagonia, and just start it this time. We're not going to talk through it. We're just going to start it because we don't want to take too long on this. It is a fun way to do things, and the navlog gives you all the information you need. All right, let's get this going here. This time I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to talk. we might turn up the lighting, because one thing is that basically it resets the airplane every time. It's like a predefined scenario. Although the neat thing is that it does sort of save your position also from airport to airport. So when we land at the next airport, it's going to save like a scenario wherever we stop. So let's just get this. There we go. All right, now I can kind of see here. All right, I don't believe we even have a parking brake, so let's just hit the gas a little bit here and see if the airplane starts moving. Or maybe we do a parking brake. Hold on, I'm just not familiar with the X-Cub. There we go. Got it. Alright. So away we go on bush trip number 1 here. Like number 1 of our bush trip here. Whoa. Keep it on the runway. Wow. Not used to flying a piston-powered airplane where you need all this right rudder. I used to be good at doing this. And I'm not very good at doing this anymore. I'm used to twin engine jet turbine engines where all the power is right up the middle. And everything's mostly balanced. Does this actually have electric trim? It does have electric trim, so I can use my trim switch here, and I'm not cheating. Alright, so let's start the timer here and read the first step here. So Lego Fagnano? I'm sorry, I don't know. Welcome to South America. You're about to tour some of the most remote parts of Patagonia. Once in the air, follow the heading southeast over the hills, passing the lake to the east to the north shore of the vast lake in the distance. Lego Fagnano. Alright, so let's just pick up our heading here. We are heading east, so we have to head southeast. So over the hills. There's some hills. Passing the lake to the east. To the north shore of the vast lake in the distance. Lake Fagnano. So that is probably this lake right here. Or is it? No, maybe it isn't, because it's got to be, it's 9.99 miles. So it gives you the distance here, 9 miles, 4.5 minutes, which is why I started the timer. But I don't like to go too high on these legs either. It is like very much a low and slow kind of operation. So let's get the flaps back up here. Let's kind of get ourselves into a bit of a cruising mode here. Oh, I see. There's a second lake in the distance there. Aha. Southeast over the hill. So let's just level off here at about 1500. Let's get the power back a little bit here. Get about 2500 RPMs. Usually a good power setting here. And let's just try and keep it at about 100 knots, give or take. Try and trim this out so it kind of flies level for me here. Not doing a very good job at that. Alright, let's keep trying. Get a little bit more manifold pressure there. Let's see if we can get 20 inches, maybe it'd be good. Alright, so passing the lake to the east to the north shore of the vast lake in the distance, Lego Fagnano. So that is the lake we're heading to there. Now I'm just going to sort of target 1500 ASL right now. I'm going to assume the altimeter is correct. The way that the bush trips are set up, they're not really there to test you on like your weather knowledge. So they're all kind of set up with a standard altimeter setting, a very light wind, you know, and you can't change the weather. I don't believe I have the option to change the weather at all once you get going on a bush trip. I don't believe. No, it's all grayed out. You know, it's preset. The idea is not to challenge you weather-wise, but to just challenge your navigation abilities, your ability to kind of follow instructions, and just look out the window and enjoy the scenery as you're going by. And that's a big part of it as well. I don't know if this is even a very populous area. It does not. I don't see a whole lot of. I certainly don't see a lot of buildings or roads or anything. It's a very rugged piece of terrain out here. Let's see if we spot any roads eventually as we go along here. But it should take us about 4 minutes and 45 seconds to get to our first waypoint here. So we have to go to the north shore of this vast lake. And so the north shore is the closer shore. So once we kind of reach the shoreline here, we'll check out our next waypoint. But it's just a fun way to explore the sim, explore the world, and give you a really kind of a mission to go down low and slow. I've never done this trip before, so I'm kind of, you know, I'm gonna learn this one as I go. I don't practice. I haven't practiced it or rehearsed it or even read any of these ahead of time. I like the treasure finding aspect of it. You know, the treasure hunting aspect of it. But it's definitely, this is a good airplane to kind of do this in here. And we're doing a decent speed. We're doing 100 knots. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. But we're definitely down low. We don't have to crawl up high. And I like to do them down low too. I don't like to get too high because I don't want to see too far. I want the challenge of trying to kind of maintain dead reckoning, you know, and just following instructions. And they're fairly well written for the most part. Small lake. Turn and fly to the east. Over and along the shoreline, you'll pass a small lake on the shoreline, surrounded by a dense canopy of trees. Continue past and keep heading east. Over and along the shoreline and look for a small lake. So yeah, we are going to hit this at about 4 minutes and 45 seconds. The timing's not always perfect. The one thing I kind of wish is that they would give you kind of the speed that this is based on. They never give you the speed it's actually based on. It's just kind of a... So you just have to guess what a normal cruise speed would be for this aircraft. And I found sometimes it's a little bit off, but give or take, you know, 10% or so, you're going to be in the right ballpark. So at 4 minutes and 45 seconds, we're going to be close to that shoreline. We won't be quite there. But again, also, we took off, we kind of climbed at a slower speed before we kind of stabilized at the speed. I kind of like this. It's working out nicely. 2,500 RPM, 20 inches, giving me about 106 knots here. It's pretty reasonable. So we'll reach this shoreline. We'll turn east to follow the shoreline. And I even pulled up in my other window, to be honest. I even pulled up, I don't know if you can see this here. No, there you go. I even pulled up my Navigraph charts just to see if I even know where we are and follow along. But you know what? I don't even like to do that. I really want to just sort of just have the joy of just the very basic navigation. All right, so we have basically reached the shoreline of Lago Fagnano. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but my apologies to anyone who knows how to say that properly, because I'm sure I'm kind of butchering it. But I certainly don't see a whole lot of signs of life around here. I haven't seen a single building, road, anything like that around here. The only trouble is that some of the stuff is actually drawn on here, so I like to zoom this map way in, so I can't actually see the purple line that I'm trying to follow. Alright, so we're going to turn and follow this shoreline east. So we're going to reset it, start it here, and should be about 2 minutes and 10 seconds to reach the small lake following the shoreline eastbound here. And we are slowly losing altitude, so let's just trim that up just a little bit so it tends to fall back into a climb a little bit here. There we go, just a very slight climb. And away we go in our Super Cub. Cub Crafters X-Cub or whatever it's called. X-Cub. All the way up, that spot's all the way up. It's a very basic airplane, but sometimes that's what you enjoy. I have a friend who's built a kit airplane, and what a joy that looked like to fly. Just a very simple, basic airplane. Nothing very exciting, but just fun. Just fun. Alright, now this could be it right here, just nestled in this tree canopy right here. It's already been about a minute. This could very well be the lake here, nestled into the tree canopy, and then I think we continue east. Eventually, you will find a lagoon right on the shoreline, and ahead of it, a lake, again, right on the shoreline. Lago Negra. So I'm going to guess this is a small lake right here. Sinking lower and lower, so I'm just going to give just a touch more power too and make sure we actually get some climb out of this here. Alright, this must be a small lake on the shoreline surrounded by a dense canopy of trees. This has got to be it, because it's been about 2 minutes, give or take. And I don't think we hit the original shoreline. I don't see anything else along this lake for a little while. So now Lago Negra is 12 miles, 5 minutes and 42 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and call it as we're passing this lake right here. I think I do see a building on this lake there, I think, or is it just a rock? Either way, we're in a very remote area here. There is not much to be found. I think there's maybe some buildings on the far side of the lake there. Again, sometimes you can't tell from this distance if it's buildings, but this is a very rugged side of the lake. That's okay. We'll stick to this side here. Alright. Now we've reached 1500 again. Just try to trim it for level flight, and I'm not very good at this anymore. But Airbus. Airbus makes you a lazy pilot. In the sense that the plane trims for you all the time. You don't need to worry about trimming the airplane, it just trims for you all the time. So you become a little bit complacent, a little bit lazy, a little bit unobservant. Alright. Nobody coming with me today in my Cub Crafter, but the details on these airplanes sometimes is quite phenomenal. It's just a default airplane. But when you've got a small airplane like this, you don't need a lot of detail. There's not a lot of systems in here to detail, so you can reproduce it pretty faithfully, and that's one of the really nice things about it is that you can, with a simpler airplane, you can reproduce it pretty faithfully without a whole lot of effort. Carb heat, cabin heat. What else we got here? So we got the master, we got all the ignition and everything, fuel pumps. We've got some very basic autopilot even, which I don't want to use because I really want to feel like we're doing the flying here. Basic lights. Why is my strobe not on? I thought I turned the strobe on. There we go. Strobes are on. Landing lights. Yeah, should probably be on. We should probably have all the lights on. My honeycomb light does not affect this at all. It's okay. We'll just turn everything on and get everybody's attention as we're going here. Yeah, I'm not even sure, honestly, where the park and brake lever is in this aircraft. Is that it there? I feel like that might be it there. Hold on. I've got a hot... Yeah, that's the park brake lever right there. Got it, okay. Because, yeah, I have it hooked up to one of the switches on my honeycomb when I'm flying this piston engine. Park brake's one of the few things you actually kind of want to have relatively quickly and accessible. Fire extinguisher on the front of the pilot seat base. Beautiful mountainous terrain up here. I wonder if we're going to have to scale up over the mountains at any point in time. Alright, so Lago Negra. You find a lagoon right on the shoreline, and ahead of it a lake again right on the shoreline. And then we're off to our first stop at Tolhuin Lago Fagnano Airport. So let's see if we can find these lakes, probably just around this next hill here. I hope. Set ourselves up for our first landing. I believe that's the flap control. So your fuel gauges. What else have we got in this airplane? Storage compartment, max capacity 1 pound. Basically, put your map up there. There's a light. What great visibility above too, to have just like the glass canopy above. Alright, I think we are going to start to see some stuff as soon as we pass around this next little bridge here. There is a little bit of snow cover on some of these mountains off here to the left. And I wonder if it's even the right time of year for snow. I wonder if it's... Because I don't believe this is ever done in real time or on real dates. It's a preset date for all these scenarios, so I wonder if it's got to be probably the summery time of year, I would assume. But you still get some snow on the higher mountains up there in the distance. Alright, as you follow the shoreline, I'm starting to see a lake come into view up there. We have been at it for 4 minutes since the last one, and we should hit this after 5:42, so another almost 2 minutes, and we'll hit this first one. And sometimes this is what flying's about, just getting out there and experiencing the freedom. The only thing that's not totally freeing about this airplane is the fact that it's on wheels and not on floats. And there was another bush tour we did. Me and a bunch of friends got together and we did this bush tour on, and it featured a float plane. I can't remember if it was the Cub. I don't think it was the Cub. It was something else, a little smaller than the Cub even. But just a little small float plane. And what a blast we had. There were like 5 of us doing this bush tour together, all just flying in the sim together. We landed over on the ocean when our float planes and circled around a little bit and came back and took off again, even though it wasn't part of the trip, just for fun, just enjoying it. And that's the one thing that, especially around here, I would think you'd want a float plane. That shoreline does not look particularly welcoming. If we were to have an engine failure, I don't think we're going to plunk it on the shoreline. And the gear does not retract, so she's going to be unpleasant either way. This kind of country, it looks like a float plane would be ideal, since there isn't a whole lot out there. I can't tell if it's a highway or if it's just a river on the far side there. I think it's just a river. Or is it a highway? Maybe it is a highway. It's kind of wandering along the shoreline. Okay. We have some bodies of water coming up, so eventually you'll find a lagoon right on the shoreline, and ahead of it, a lake again right on the shoreline. Ahead of it or after it? Either way, past the lake and the lagoon, and you'll be entering to town of Tolhuin on the eastern outskirts of town. You should see a runway. This is your first stop, and so this is what the airport looks like. Kind of looks like it's kind of stuck in a gravel pit. Kind of look for a bit of an open area, so we're not quite heading east, but past the lake and lagoon and be entering the town of Tolhuin on the east side of town. You should see a runway. This is your first stop, so we have to try and find this one here. So it's taking us longer, so I'm definitely not going as fast as I should be here. Maybe we'll bump this up a little bit here. Let's give it 23 inches and see what kind of our cruise speed it settles into here, because it's taking me a long time between waypoints here. This is supposed to be 5 minutes 45. We're already at 6:45. So obviously the trip was meant to go a little bit faster. Let me know if that background noise is too loud, if it's drowning me out or not. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell because I don't have myself in my speakers, because it's almost impossible to kind of talk and have the delay and have an echo, because any streaming creates a tiny bit of delay, like the time it takes to process it. Sounds perfect? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, because I used to try and do that, and it's so disconcerting to hear yourself with a slight delay. I just can't do it. All right. So we have to pass the east side of the lake, and then it's 4 miles, 2 minutes from the lake here. So it really should be. And I wonder, is this the town here? Although it looks to me like this is a highway. Kind of comes along the edge, so I have a feeling like following that will probably help us find this airport here. All right, so here is what I assume is the lagoon, and then this will be the lake, and I'll restart the timer when we get to the lake. So obviously I've been going slower than I should here. Maybe it's supposed to be 25 inches, I don't know. It's not particularly windy or bumpy, so I can go into the yellow arc if I want to, but I can hear you perfectly in the aircraft sound. Good background sound. I remember the flight was slower than I expected to. Okay. And that's the one thing, and that's just the one thing that I kind of wish they would kind of specify at some point in the bush trip, is what is the kind of the expected cruise speed that all these times are based upon. Because there's really not a whole lot of guidance on that. And you take certain aircraft and you can have a wide range of cruise speeds. The cruise speeds could be 50, 100 knots different. Aha, I see the airport right there. That wasn't too hard to find. This must be the town of Tolhuin. I'm not even going to bother resetting the timer as we pass over the last lake here, which I think we're passing over right here now. Yep. We'll just go ahead. And get the power back. Probably didn't need to shove the prop lever all the way forward, to be honest. I actually meant to shove the mixture in a little bit as I was kind of coming down here. Alright, and the one thing we're going to have to do is lose some speed in order to be able to get our flaps out here. Do I have an actual flap speed placard? Maybe up near the flaps? No. So we're just going to go with the white arc on the airspeed indicator here. 70 knots. She does not want to slow down too easily here.
500.
Thank you, plane. I really feel like we're just barely crawling along here. Alright, now we've got some flaps out. Let's get another notch of flaps out. I don't know how many notches there are, in all honesty. There's a third notch, that's full flap. That is going to get us down pretty steeply here. Definitely need some up trim to hold against this much flap here. And let's see how well I can land a tail dragger. And probably the answer is not very well. Because I have not used tail draggers, that's for sure. Points for doing multiple landings. And the one thing I learned from you, Travis, is don't tap the brakes too hard. Because the last thing you want to do is nose over your tail dragger. Alright, and what we'll do is before we come to a stop, we're going to swing around and backtrack the runway without stopping, hopefully. Because usually the determining function for when the trip ends is when the plane comes to a total full stop. So if we don't stop, we'll set ourselves back to the threshold of the runway. Because wherever you stop, what, the prop isn't supposed to hit the ground? I don't believe it is. From everything I've been taught. Because wherever you stop on the runway, this is the one thing about the bush trips, is when you stop on the runway, at whatever point you stop, it saves it at that point. And every time you come back to that leg in the future, that next leg in the future, you're always going to start at that same point. So why not backtrack to the threshold of the runway here before we stop? And that way we're ready for leg number 2. Even if something happens, if the sim crashes again, heaven forbid. How long is this runway? I kind of wasted a lot of it there, didn't I? Trouble with tail draggers is you really can't see what's in front of you unless you're super tall. I guess I just barely do super tall here. Look over the dash. Alright. Easy on the brakes. We don't want to nose over. Don't stop until we're lined up on the runway, because that way we'll just be sort of ideally positioned for the next leg. Alright, and then just come to a full stop. Give it a couple seconds to register. And leg completed. Check, 22 minutes. Done. Leg number 1. And continue. My aircraft has been refueled. Awesome. Full fuel again. Love it. GSX, go away. I don't care about you. Alright, roadside village. So we're going to take off and head southwest toward the eastern shoreline of Lake Fagnano. Head southwest, so back towards this eastern shoreline of Lake Fagnano. You should quickly see a road running in the same direction. Follow it to the southern shoreline of the lake. As you go, you should pass a couple of small lakeside villages. Continue following the road southwest. Alright, roadside villages. So what we'll do is we'll take off, we'll turn back and be in the field, and we'll start the timer again for 2 hours and 12 minutes. Alright. Probably don't want full flap for this. So it seems like there's 3 flap settings in the Cub. Alright. Just gonna minimize this for a second here for the takeoff. This time I'm gonna be a little bit more ready with the right rudder again, unlike last time where I was not ready. Okay, a little better this time. Nice, just sort of leveling herself out nicely. It just lifts herself off at 50 knots there. Of course, I probably didn't trim properly for takeoff either. I should probably recheck that next time. Had to book a flight to Las Vegas at the end of the month, and I have no idea how hard it is to find a flight. I had to go to San Francisco first before going to Las Vegas. Yeah, Vegas is one of those, especially this time of year. Vegas, I think, would be popular just because you want to get away from winter in Canada. Vegas is a good place to go to. Not that I like Vegas, but if you do like getting away, I'm not a Vegas kind of person at all. All right. Back to 25 inches. I'm going to get this back to 2,500 RPM. I am not a Vegas person, but I can see that. This time of year, any of those warm places usually are pretty sold out, usually far in advance. It's unfortunate though. But this is the trouble right now. It's like the industry is just, it's insane right now. Alright, that's the flaps up. Nobody can nobody can maintain capacity, which is what's just absolutely crazy right now. Is every airline's in the same boat. It's for work, you know, convention center central. Well, that's the other thing too. Now, did you hear about this? Coming back, you have to fly through LAX. Hey, when are you going to be in LAX? Because I'm going to be in LAX. No, you said the end of the month. I'm going to be in LAX in the middle of the month. But did you hear about Flight Sim Expo? And this is something I was going to talk about on my stream, which I thought was just absolutely crazy. That Flight Sim Expo's venue is going to be demolished before Flight Sim Expo happens. So they were supposed to have it at the Tropicana. I think we figured out 23 inches, right? The trim for the cruise. They're supposed to have it at the Tropicana in Las Vegas in June, and they found out that now the Tropicana is going to be closed closed in April and start to be demolished in May. And so now they're scrambling to try and find some other venue, even though like they knew that it was going to close, but like the hotel and the even the Las Vegas convention center tourism bureau convinced but told everybody, oh, it's not going to be closed until late in the year, and then they changed their minds and now it's going to be closed, and now they're scrambling. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't shut down the Tropicana, but just like what a lousy hand for all these organizers trying to organize this event, and all of a sudden, oh, by the way, that venue that you were planning on inviting all these people to and having this convention that people have already paid money to come to and host exhibits at, oh yeah, by the way, we're shutting that place down. Good luck. So I guess they are like trying to talk to some people and see if they can find another venue, but it's just like, what a gong show. Let's just pull that mixture up a little bit, save a little bit of gas on the way here. What a gong show. And I was thinking about going into it this year, finally. Like, I've started to think the standby travel is a viable option. But Vegas is one that, like, yeah, so now they got to re-plan the whole show. Like, what a crazy cluster. You know, and they even asked, because they knew the Tropicana was going to be torn down, so they apparently asked and said, hey, it is still going to be open at this point in time. And everyone's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's going to be open. You know, we're not tearing it down until the second half of the year. And then all of a sudden they changed the date. Now it's like, oh, it's closing in April. So, you know, all these people have rooms booked there. You know, the convention's booked. People have booked airline tickets. Like, what a disaster. Because how do you find, like, you know, on 4 or 5 months notice, 4 months notice basically, how do you find convention space in Los Angeles for, you know, 5,000, 10,000 people? I don't know how many people are going to attend Flight Sim Expo. A couple thousand people anyways, on, you know, last minute like this. Like, you're certainly not going to get good locations anyways. Alright, so you should see a road running there. Follow to the southern shoreline of the lake. As you go, you should pass a couple of small lakeside villages. Maybe that's one. That might even be two there. It looks like that was probably the original road, and then they carved this nice new modern road out of the wilderness there. Continue following the road southwest. As you continue along the road, you should pass by a river running south before passing a small lagoon on the shoreline to your north. So follow the road. Okay, how much time have we used up here? So 2:12. Shoreline lagoon, another 3 minutes, so it's got to be probably longer than this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back offshore just to kind of make sure I can see what's going on by looking out the window here. So we did pass by a couple of villages. In total, this should be more like 5.5 minutes-ish to get to Shoreline Lagoon. So I'm sure it's not this here. I don't think that's a lagoon. I think it's just some clear space. The road does some weird things here. So a river going to the south. I mean, there is a river here going to the south. Albeit a very small one. I don't really see anything that looks like a shoreline lagoon yet, though. So we'll just keep that's probably another little village there. I don't think we killed enough. This is probably the lagoon here. Follow the road. This would be to your north. I'm not going to follow the road precisely here, but that could very well be the lagoon they're talking about. Rio Milna Bridge. As the road curls further and further away from the shoreline, you should see a wide river snake its way across to the road to the southern shore of the lake. Across two roads to the southern shore of the lake. Some of this is not the best linguistically, but anyway. turn to follow the river southwest away from the road. Okay, so follow the road, and we're going to come to a wide river. That could be this right here. The Rio Milna Bridge. So again, I kind of want to keep this in sight, but I have a feeling this is the lagoon here. And it's been about it's been almost a little bit early here because it should be 2:12 and 2:56. That's 5. That's like 5:08. It's a little bit early. Maybe I'm going a little faster now. I don't see anything else really that looks like a lagoon along this shoreline though. So I'm going to go with that's probably shoreline lagoon. Looking for a wide river. We'll just do the easy thing and follow the shoreline to find a wide river that crosses this road, and then follow the river away, follow the river southwest away from the road. I feel like we just went like in a circle. We just flew up the other side of this lake here, but whatever. It's all part of the fun. Alright, definitely if you kind of, and this is one of the things they actually teach you when you know, if you're learning how to fly, this is one of the things they teach you is when you're trying to fly like a route or fly along something, don't fly over it. Fly beside it so you can look out the window. Especially if you're in a high-wing aircraft, you can really see out the window nicely. Even in a low-wing aircraft, you can usually kind of lean forward and look up ahead of the wing or something, but if you're flying right over it, it's very hard to see what's underneath the nose of the airplane, so you always fly beside whatever it is you're trying to kind of track. Just follow this shoreline. I can see the road there. Looking for a wide river. So there's a river here. Is this a wide river? Would you call this a wide river? I don't know if I'd call this a wide river here. Anyways, oh, I didn't reset it when we passed that lagoon. Rio Milna Bridge should be another 2 minutes. Did it not restart? Okay, pause, reset, start. So we probably... That's not really a wide river, that's barely a river. It's southwest, so that's not it. This one right here could be it. I wouldn't exactly call it a wide river, but it's been, so it's probably about a minute late starting that, so this could well be the river. It does kind of snake across. It does look like a pretty important bridge there. I'll keep an eye out for other rivers, but I feel like this is the river. Follow the river past a fork in the river, continuing on along the wider fork. Oh, don't even tell me right or left, the wider fork, really. Continue along the river as it cuts to the countryside until it crosses paths with a road by a lake. Wow, sometimes these instructions are so vague. Okay, I'm gonna go with this has got to be the bridge they were talking about. Okay, so let's reset the timer as we pass the bridge here. Reset and start. There. Okay, so follow it to the southwest. Follow the river past a fork in the river. This could be the fork right here even. Continue along the river as it cuts through the countryside until it crosses paths with a road by a lake. So there is a lake up ahead, so I tend to believe it's this way. I don't see a whole lot else out this side here. I tend to believe this is the direction we're going here. There's a lake here. Also, even if I look back to the shoreline again, there's no other rivers really to speak of that cross this road anytime soon. So I think this is it. So this, I think that might have been the fork even right there. Or maybe this is the fork right here. Oh, this is the fork right here, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, this one, okay. I'll buy that this is wider over here. Are we having fun yet? Alright. Even so here, even this looks like the wider. There's a couple of forks. It forks a couple times here. I think this is the wider fork mostly here. And it's heading towards a lake. It's heading towards a couple of lakes here. Until it crosses paths with a road by a lake. Good thing there's not too many roads around this part of the world here. Try to find the one road you're looking for. Alright. Let me know if you see a road. I don't see a road here yet, but It's supposed to be 3 minutes and 34 seconds, 7.5 miles. It looks like up ahead here as we get closer to this bigger lake. So I think this is what we're following here. Or is it this here? Is that a road there? Oh, decisions, decisions. Follow the road southwest up into the mountains. Continue the road south until you reach another river. This one running northwest. Oh my god. We are never going to find this place. Okay. Wow. I feel like this might be one of those cases where I get lost here, but see, I feel like this is the road and the lake here, because the timing's not right yet either. So 3 minutes and 34 seconds, Lago Escondido crosses paths with a road by a lake. See, this I think is it. So this is, I think, where they want us to go. Okay, I think we're on the right track. It looks familiar. I am slowly climbing too, and as we kind of head more towards these mountains, I think that's probably not a bad thing, as we're kind of gaining a little bit of altitude here, ready to kind of zoom in and out of these valleys here. At least in this Super Cub, if I slow down, if I pull the throttle right back, I get slow like 70 knots, put the flaps down, slow to 50 knots, and I can make a pretty sharp turn. See, this is going to be about 3 minutes and 34 seconds. So, alright, so follow the road southwest up into the mountains. Continue the road south until you reach another river, 7.18 miles. This one running northwest. Alright, so follow the road up through the mountains. Is this like the same road? I feel like this is the same road again here. It's just turned into the mountains here. I could have kept following the road all along, but they had to make it tricky. They just had to give us landmarks to follow. Okay, I need to get kind of more over the lake here so I can see what's going on. Alright, we're at 2,000 feet now, and that's kind of intentional. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and reset the clock here. Alright, close enough. 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Follow the road southwest up to the mountains. Continue the road south until you reach another river, this one running northwest. So 7.18 miles. So I feel like it's going to go up the side of the mountain here. I feel like I might need even more altitude to follow this. I wonder if we're going to have to go over the mountains. I think we might be going over the mountains here. I'm going to give it some power and kind of put it to a climb here. Slow but steady climb. Yeah, it looks like we're going right up into the mountains here. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. They're not particularly tall. I just haven't been trying to climb to get above them yet, so. Yeah, don't give it away too much if you think you know where we're going. I'd rather. I always enjoy the adventure as much as I'm like, oh, I think we're gonna get lost on this. I'd rather get lost and have the fun of doing it. All right. Bit of a steeper climb here. Chop some speed off and gain that altitude to follow this road because it's going right up the side of this cliff here. Let's come a little closer to this side just so we can see what's going on ahead of us here, and it looks like it just keeps going. I'm gonna have to add more time because we kind of slowed down with this climb here. I imagine it looks like it's going to go through this pass right here. I kind of want to go a little over the terrain though. Let's see if we can hit 3,000 and should be able to clear most of this. And it looks like the road does kind of turn south down this valley here. Okay, good. Hopefully we're not hitting the mountain. Ah, we're fine. Fine. Alright, there's 3,000. Bring it back to my kind of cruising along here at 3,000. So there goes the road down the valley here. And then we're going to cross another river that runs northwest. So we're almost south here. So yeah, it's probably going to cut back through this next valley. And it's funny because like I'm used to being in a tandem seater, so I'm so used to only looking out the left-hand window when you're trying to fly. as if I could only look out, but I could just lean just as easily over the right-hand window and just see what's going on the right-hand side. But it looks like we're coming into like another valley up ahead here, so I think we'll just kind of hook and turn to the right here in the next valley. Some of the scenery is a little bit basic down here. I don't think South America's gotten any world updates yet. I don't think it's gotten any love. Alright, until you reach another river running northwest. Follow the river west past a fork, ignoring the northern fork into the mountains. Alright. So I definitely see a river through this valley here. Alright, so this is about the right time frame. I'd say that's about right. So I think we've hit the correct river here. Alright, I'm just kind of trying to get myself right over this here to sort of take a nice turn. There's probably a mine of some kind down there. We'll pitch down. Alright, we're going to start the turn, and then, you know what, we'll start the timer once we kind of straighten out here. If the road only goes one way, I don't think it does. I think it goes multiple ways here. Try not to hit the other side of the valley. Alright, that's close enough. Follow the river west past a fork, ignoring the northern fork running into the mountains. So Rio Lasifaja Fork. 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 4.5 miles. Alright, so once again, doing exactly what I said I shouldn't do, flying right over the river. That is just the road, yeah. Oh, it does kind of split. So the road kind of comes this way, but then... So we're actually following the same road still. But then another branch of the road goes back that way. Alright. So 2 minutes, there should be a fork in the river. Kind of slid down to 2,500 as we came around that turn. I'm okay with that. We've basically been following this road, though, all the way since we left town. We kind of left it. Kept coming back to it though. Yeah, we're really losing altitude here now. I don't want to lose too much because I don't want to be stuck down here in the mountains. I like being able to kind of fly along the valley, side of the valley a little bit, not right up the middle, just so I can have a look at what's going on out there. Alright. I wonder if there's a big valley right here. Either way, it says ignore the North Fork, so keep following this down here. It looks like this might be the fork here. I'm guessing. Ignore that one. Road bridge. Make your way along the river until it crosses paths with a road before meandering northeast. Follow the road west. Alright. So that's another 226, so a total of about 436 there. Let's see how this works out here. Assuming that this is the fork, and I think this is the fork. It's a little bit early, but I may have not been quite where the intersection was, so we'll assume that was probably it. Ignore the North Fork. Well, just ignoring it then. We'll look this way. We're back down to 2,000. I gotta stop drifting down here. I gotta really level off and keep it level. The road really kind of scales the side of this mountain here. Or is this like strip mining or something out here? Or it could just even just be landslides. It's a little bit hard to tell sometimes, especially when you get in areas where the photogrammetry imagery is not quite as precise. Like North America, it's very precise everywhere. In South America, I feel like not quite as precise in a lot of areas. Alright, so following the river. Gotta make sure I see enough of it that I can see if there is a bridge. Should be another, like, at least a minute or two. This could even be the North Fork here that I'm supposed to ignore. There's a couple of forks, so... meandering northeast, follow the road west. So I'm just going to keep following this road west anyways. Obviously this is the road. The whole way we're meant to follow. Yeah, that one also meandered off into the mountains. the Northern Fork. 226 the road bridge. Rio Olivia. Keep following the road as it bends off to the southwards. You'll soon pass by a river. Oh, and here's the bridge, I think, right here. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Follow the road west. Okay, so this is going to be it here, and that's about right for the timing as well. Keep following the road as it bends off southwards. You'll soon pass by a river that runs south. So probably it looks like around that next valley there, I bet. Follow the river through the mountains towards the Beagle Channel shoreline. Fly southwest along the shoreline. You'll see a runway. Okay, so first of all, there's the bridge. So let's reset the timer right here. Follow the road west. Keep following the road as it bends off southwards. You'll soon pass by a river that runs south. Rio Olivia. 2 minutes and 7 seconds, 4.48 miles. So probably just around this next mountain ridge here. Let's see if we can do this here. Definitely flows south. And soon pass by a river. Rio Olivia. I mean, that could be it right there. It's obviously kind of opening up into another valley here. We'll follow it south. Follow the river through the mountains and towards the Beagle Channel shoreline. Fly southwest along the shoreline. And once you see the runway, land at the shorter of the two. It wants me to land on the short runway. Not a very good picture even, but it's right on the shoreline there by the looks of it. Okay, so land on the shorter of the two runways. So I think I see the Beagle Channel there as we kind of come around the corner here. I mean, you couldn't really miss the river, but it really kind of intercepts the river here around this channel. Is that housing, or is that it? Or is it just like sediment? No, it's something that's straight lines. Maybe it's not housing. It looks maybe it's logging camps or something, or maybe not logging camps, but like a logging collection area. You know, float the logs down the river. It could be hard to tell. It's definitely something man-made, anyways. All right, follow the river. Now that's 2 minutes. Sure, let's call it 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes. Follow the river through the mountains towards the Beagle Channel shoreline and then fly southwest. So make a right turn along the shoreline. Once we get past this next ridge here, we'll start dropping down again back towards 1,500 feet. We kind of just climbed up again here. I didn't even realize we're climbing. Too busy looking out the window. All right, and probably right there, isn't it? Yeah, we're just coming at it from a different direction here, but it's right here. So we just got to get over this ridge and then we can start dropping down. There you go. That wasn't too bad to find, but boy, we really kind of took a little trip through the mountains there, didn't we? So land at the shorter of the two. So I can't even really see this diagram. It's really kind of faint to see where runways are. Oh, is that a runway right there? Okay, so that's probably like the new runway. This is probably like the old airport here. We're going to go land at the old airport, I bet. I don't even know what town this is, but it looks like a pretty busy little town here. Probably some strip mining and stuff happening over here. Looks like mines probably over here, or maybe even logging camps, lumber mills, things like that. Harvesting natural resources. Alright, so does the runway, it looks like the runway is almost like right to left in front of me, doesn't it? That's what it looks like to me, so we're going to start dropping down even a little faster here. Let's get that carb heat on first before we pull the power too close to idle. Yeah, okay, I see the I see the runway in question here, so let's just kind of follow the shoreline. Turn final just over the village here. I have to start slowing down. This thing is, she's a little bit almost slippery. She doesn't kind of want to slow down too much. At idle, she doesn't slow down very much. She flies along. Good evening, Tom and GT. Welcome on board. Yeah, everyone is well. I hope everything's well with you. Just out enjoying a bush trip. Something very different. I haven't done one for a while. I just kind of had a real hankering to do one. I just wanted to take a little break from the pilot's life stuff. It's fun, but sometimes you want to get down there and just remember what it's like to fly. Low, slow, the basics. Good old four bangers. Alright, here comes notch 1 of flaps. Here comes notch 2. We're just going to go straight to notch 3 here. Just kind of pitch it down here. We're just at idle, but we just got to get down here. Perfectly without overspeeding our flaps anymore. We're quite fast for the approach here.
500.
But we do have a long runway in front of us as well. But boy, she's like a glider almost. She just doesn't like to go down. Even at idle with full flaps, she's sinking. Wow, I am used to flying a much, no, don't nose over, no. No. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Slowing down, but not nosing over. Okay. Oh, that just leads to the hangar. So let's spin around quickly. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Let's go back to the threshold here. It doesn't look like. I thought it was maybe a parallel taxiway, but it's not. Wow, I'm so used to being in a much higher airplane than that. So flare 50 feet up in the air. Yeah, that's about what you would expect me to do, in all honesty. Sometimes it's nice to go back to that VFR stuff. I 100% agree. It's just kind of nice to fly looking out the window. You know, we when I first got the sim, I like extolled the virtues of like the scenery's fantastic, like photorealistic scenery everywhere. I thought it was great. It's like, and then we got airliners. We stopped looking out the window. We started staring at these screens here in front of us. And occasionally we look out the window to land, and you'd be sitting here staring at the screen the whole day. And we're back to that sort of thing again, which I think is just, I don't know, it's not funny, but it is the kind of flying that I'm used to, and I enjoy kind of sharing that part of my flying experience with you, so that's why I do it. But like, it's also just nice to be a pilot, a real pilot. Get out there, just do the basics. Now, is there a trim indicator anywhere on this thing? I don't even know. Is there? I know the trim's moving, but I don't even know if is there a trim indicator anywhere in this airplane. Because I kind of want to reset it to like a takeoff trim. Alright. Let's just spin around here really quickly. Let's just get my flaps back to a takeoff position here. Alright, that should be good. Alright, leg 2 completed. 30 minutes that took. That was kind of fun though. Nice little trip through the mountain. Let's continue. Don't worry about this. Alright, let's take the carb heat off, and let's just have a quick little look-see around. I just want to know, is there a trim indicator anywhere? So, airplane was refueled, so it's fine. We keep drawing from the left tank. I don't think there is a trim indicator anywhere, is there? It's just totally by feel. Nothing like that, no. Just having a quick look around here because I'm honestly unfamiliar with the X-Cub. I don't think there is a trim indicator anywhere. If there is, I haven't figured it out. So hopefully it's set for good takeoff position anyways. Alright, leg number 3. Let's keep going for at least 1 or 2 more legs here. Alright, so from SAWO to SCNY, 20.3 miles. It's only a 10-minute trip. It's actually pretty quick. So, Isla Redonda, Once in the air, make your way southwest down the shoreline. When the shoreline ends, fly across the bay to the island located at its center. Okay. Alright, so we got the carpeets off, mixtures full rich, props full fine. Alright, brakes off. Let's try this. I overdo it with the rudder, and then I underdo it as we're accelerating. I really am not used to flying a single-engine piston airplane anymore. There comes a point where you just gotta kind of pull it off the runway so you can stop steering. Alright, pause and brake, you're up. Alright, I'll read your comment in just a second. Let me just get going here, get myself kind of trimmed out so she's going to fly nicely here. There we go. Alright, I agree, although I tried flying the Cessna 1752 on cross-country near Mexico City and had to turn back due to low power and altitude. Mexico ATC was a PPL and said it is very tricky in real life, no room for air. He flies a Cessna 152 but with a Cessna 172 engine. Yeah, I believe that. In Mexico City? Yeah. That would be a challenging part of the world to fly in for sure, in an airplane that does not have a lot of surplus power. Absolutely, I would 100% agree with that. You know what? I'll commend you on some smart decision making there. I think the dog wants to go out now, and I just took off again. You gotta know your limitations. You really do. Going for 2,500 RPM again here, and that's not an easy thing to say. It's not an easy thing to admit. You've hit a limit, hit a personal limit, and it can be very tough for people to recognize in themselves. So, good on you. We're flying the X-Cub. So we're doing the Patagonia bush trip, which I know is an old one. It was, I think, one of the original bush trips that shipped with Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think. All right, let's start that timer before I forget. Did I start it? I did start it. Okay. But I never had a chance to do it, and I really kind of wanted to. Like, it's a part of the world. Again, this is a part of the world that I've never really flown in much, at all. I've never been here at all. I've never been to South America, so it's a good chance for me to experience places that I've never been, and that's one of the nice things about this sim is okay, it's not perfect, but it is. It's a beautiful part of the world. I would love to go visit it, and maybe this will help inspire me to go visit it one day. Alright, so make your way southeast on the shoreline. When the shoreline ends, fly across the bay to the island located at center. So 6 miles, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So I'm guessing it's this island right here. Yeah, just good to get out and do something different. And I didn't even put up my flaps. Shoot, oversped the flaps big time there. Distracted. Shoot. Fortunately, the sim world is forgiving. I'm not running with checklists. I don't even know if there is a checklist for the X-Cub. I'm sure there is a checklist for the X-Cub. It's such a simple airplane, you can kind of do it without having to necessarily follow a checklist. But I did have one idea for a stream that I am going to do later this year, which I think is going to be really kind of fun. I got to really just lean over here and look out the right window here. Because the craziest thing, and I just sort of came to this realization a few weeks ago, is that later this year it'll have been 25 years since I got my since I went solo and got my license, and I would like to try and mark that milestone a little bit. So I was definitely thinking that it's got to be this one right here. I was definitely thinking that go out, kind of replicate those first solo flights around Buttonville Airport again for a live stream. I can't believe it's been 25 years of flying airplanes. Like, that just blows me away when you start to put it in that perspective. Like, I know it's been a long time. Like, it's basically been my life for pretty much almost as long as I can remember at this point now. I can barely remember, those things, but I know the year, I know the date. I don't know the exact date, but I'm going to go look it up in my logbook. But it was in kind of the May-June area. So later this year, I probably am going to go and redo that. Bahia Indigaya. Fly southwest to the other side of the bay. Follow the shoreline southwest again, and this time when the shoreline ends, head northwest into the bay. All right, so follow the shoreline to the next bay. I have to go actually look up what the actual dates were, but yeah, it just blows my mind that it's been 25 years. I can't even believe that. So I kind of want to celebrate that a little bit. So I was thinking that yeah, for that we'll take the venerable Cessna 150 up for some circuits in Buttonville, maybe do some sightseeing around city center, just a little bit of free living that, especially because Buttonville doesn't even exist anymore. And how sad is that? I can't get over that. That was such an integral part of my life for so long, and such an integral part of aviation in Canada for so long, and for it to just be sold. And it's not even, originally it was going to be houses. I could almost live with that, some condominiums and stuff and housing and such. And it's like, okay, at least, we have a housing crisis in this country. Okay, like I can kind of deal with that. But for Buttonville to just be sold, and they changed their minds, they're not building houses there, probably because the soil is so polluted from the fact the airport was there for so long, and they're just turning it into warehouses. Just it's just going to be an Amazon distribution center or whatever. Like, what a waste of a fine asset. So disappointing. Tama GT, have you enjoyed it looking back? Well, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. Do you think I would be flying Microsoft Flight Simulator as often as I do if I didn't enjoy it to some degree? Yeah, I absolutely have enjoyed it. I've had a phenomenal career. I've met some absolutely amazing people, some wonderful people, some great friends. And not even just the flying aspect. I mean, the flying is obviously great and fun, but just the people I've met and the places I've gone and seen that I would never have seen in almost any other career. And not the big cities. The big cities everyone goes to and everyone knows them, but the little places I've been to Churchill, Manitoba. I've seen polar bears in Churchill, Manitoba. I've been to reserves, in northern Ontario. I've been to lots of little places that, like, places you just would never think. Places you just never think of visiting that don't appear really on any maps. Little tiny places. I've been to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. Okay, they're kind of popular and iconic, but I've been to so many equally small places. St. Simon's Island, if anybody knows where that is, I went there. I had tons of fun the one time I ever went there. So many places I've been to once. I can't wait to get my Amazon order quicker. Oh, it's all your fault, Ed. I'm going to blame you personally now. Head to the bay shoreline into the river opening on the south bank of the river is an airstrip you can land at. Ooh, this one looks a little bit challenging. Really kind of down and dirty there. I'm going to have to hop down already and be ready because it's going to sneak up on you as you kind of fly up this valley here. It might even be right in the mouth of the river there, but yeah, I think it's really close to the river mouth there, but let's be down and low because it doesn't look like a particularly long runway, so I can't blow this one like I've blown all the other ones. Yeah, it's been a fun career. Would I change things? I don't know if I really would. I have led a path that was not particularly fast, and there are parts of me that sometimes regret that. It's taken me a long time. It's taken me 25 years to get to where I am now. That's a long time, and it's not that I regret any step of the way, because I don't. I had so much fun every step of the way, but the only problem is, like, being a pilot is a little bit, in a way, kind of like being like an athlete, like a hockey player or something like that, and that you've got a pretty solid limitation on how long you can participate. And in my case, it's not so much related to physical fitness, so athletes have a little bit of leeway on it, but there's an expiration date. There is a mandatory retirement date for pilots, plain and simple. There's no two ways about it. And if you don't have retirement savings by then you have a problem. Better than slowly dying in a cubicle farm. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is I wouldn't trade in those moments. It's just that I kind of wish I'd gotten to the destination sooner, just because of the amount of money. And I hate to say that, but, like, I have to retire and live off of my pension. And it's not, all the work that I've done to date is not enough to retire off of. I need to get definitely a little bit more squirreled away in the bank. So it's kind of nice to be at the big leagues finally. I kind of wish I'd gotten here sooner, but it's not because I didn't enjoy the other steps along the way, because I can say I've enjoyed each job I've had in its own way, and they've all been different. They've all taught me great things. I've enjoyed each job along the way, for sure. So I'm just wondering if this right here is the runway. So I'm kind of aiming for that, trying to come in low and slow already. So if that is it, I think that is going to be it. Although it's really kind of along the... Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Anyways, we're going to come in really low and slow here, just in case that is the runway. And if it isn't, let's pull the carb before we get any more power off here. Really not being good about this. Or is it further up? See, I really can't even tell. It could be this right here, or it could be just a little further up the river. I wouldn't want to have to overfly it and circle back. I don't think that's it. I think we have to go just a little further up the river. So we're just gonna run up the river here at 500 feet. That way when we turn and we suddenly see it's in front of us, we can drop down pretty quick. I'm also going to keep the speed back a little bit for this, just so I'm ready to find this little spot here. I don't think this is it here. It's kind of parallel to the river between two bends. I think this is it up here. I think that's it up there. Let's get slowed down. Let's get some flaps out. Let's see if that's... I think that's it right there, isn't it? Oh, what a cute little airport here. Ooh. This MSFS update is taking forever. It's a big one. Yeah, it was a big one.
500.
I think this is it. This looks like it. Let's get those flaps out here. I'm just gonna go right to full flaps here. Yeah, cute. This one doesn't leave much margin for error here. See, and this is what I'm talking about with these bush trips. Like, you wouldn't even know if you were overflying this. You wouldn't even know that this was an airstrip you're good to land at. There's a couple little markers on the side here, and that's about it. And remember that you're not in a 16-foot high wheel height. There we go. That one's about a little bit better. Keep it away from the trees. It's the biggest thing. Whoa. I am not good at driving tail draggers. Alright, once again, I'm just gonna backtrack and be ready with the next takeoff before we save it here. I don't even see the markers anymore. I think I am outside the markers, I think. Maybe this is it. No, I think I see two markers there, but... Wow. This is some backcountry flying. Really kind of wish that overlay wasn't there, because I'd love to just screenshot. I'm going to crop it in the future. Yeah, this is it. Okay, yeah, we are kind of right in the middle of it here. Going to take us right back down to the water's edge here. Oh, this would be the dream, would be to own a float plane like, or not own a float plane like this, but I was talking about this today too with a buddy. It was like, that would be one of the dreams. Would just be just to get a float rating, own a small float plane, be able to take it out to the lake, and any lake really. Just explore places where so few other people can go because there's no road access, there's no nothing. You just pull up on the side of a beach somewhere. All right, without getting it in the water, I think that's probably close enough here. Whoa, too far. Nope. And then I stopped. It's okay. Good enough. Am I on VATSIM right now? No, I'm not actually on VATSIM right now. I just decided just fly this just as a fun little thing. It's one of the few times I don't do it, but because I think for the obvious reason that because, like, yeah, you're trying to fly this very specific route that's kind of given to you here, and not that I think we're going to be close to any ATC or any controlled airports at this point, but I just didn't want to deal with it. I just want to enjoy just the flying aspect today, which is just rare. Yeah, exactly. It's one of the MSFS bush trips. It's exactly what it is. So yeah, tons of fun. All right, definitely. Maybe we'll do one more. What do you guys think? One more leg at least here. Let's keep this going for at least another 16 to 20 minutes here, and then we'll evaluate. But I think we got time for at least one more leg here. So 35 miles to SCAZ. I don't even know what these airports are, but I guess it's called Azopardo Airport. So Rio La Pataya. Head along the river, and you should see a fork heading north through a dense forest. Follow the river as it runs north and bends east to another fork. Continue following the river east. So 3 minutes, 5.95 miles. All right. Let's just get this thing lined up again here. Let's just get that out of the way for the takeoff here. So I kind of swung around a little bit too far there. Just make sure I got max RPM here. Yep, we got RPM's at max. Mixture is full rich. And the flaps are at the first notch, which I don't know if that's actually the proper takeoff setting. I really just don't have the manual, but I'm just going for it. All right, yeah, I'm going for it. Here we go. I'm gonna try and keep it straight here on the grass. As long as I don't hit a tree, I think we're probably good. I'm gonna try and keep it aimed at this mountain peak right here for the time being, so it's pretty good. She's just gonna fly herself off the ground at about 45 to 50 knots here. Alright, let's just start that timer. It's only about 2:49 to 3. Alright, just going to pitch down a little bit more so I can see what we're doing. Get the flaps up. And let's get those props again back to 2,500. We got a decent climb established here. I don't think we even need to climb that high here. Follow the river. Alright, read it again. Fork heading north through a dense forest. Follow the river as it runs north and bends east to another fork. Continue following the river east. Alright, so that looks like north to me. That definitely looks like north to me. So let's go ahead and follow that. That looks like a glacier up ahead. Oh, awesome. Not far above sea level. Yeah, we're still running into glaciers here. Alright, let's get this thing kind of rolling out here. Follow this river up the valley a little bit here without getting too close to the sides of the valley. Yeah, that's a glacier right there. Neat. Should go land on the glacier. I come back here another time. Alright. Keep going. Not gonna get this all done in one night, that's for sure. And that wasn't the plan ever. The plan was to do this over a couple nights. The month of February, I think I'll be doing this, and then maybe March we'll get into the next pilot's life leg. I'm not tired of it, but I just want to take a little break. Want to stream something different. I feel like I'm mostly staring at the instruments and talking while I'm staring at the instruments. But I feel like there's more exciting things we could be doing while streaming. And if you guys have any suggestions for other stuff I can stream too, I was thinking it might be time to go take the DC-6 flying again. The PMDG DC-6. I haven't taken that thing out of the hangar probably in the better part of a year. I've forgotten how to fly it, in all honesty. I'd have to go do a couple of lessons and teach myself how to fly it again, but I think that would be fun. Alright, so I think this will be the head of the valley up here. This will probably be where we switch to our easterly fork. East. Continue along the river heading east while gaining altitude. Oh, okay, so we're going to have to gain altitude here, huh? Alright, let's just keep a slow climb going the whole time here. Not too much, but 249. North to another fork, so this looks like probably where it's going to fork up here. It looks like a couple of valleys meet. Follow it to the east, which would be a hard 90 to the right. We're pretty much due north at this point. Altitude a little bit here, because I think we're going to have to go over the mountains or something to get to this next airport. At least they're nice enough to kind of give you that, hey, start gaining altitude warning before you run into... have I been pulling the cabin heat instead of the carb heat? Oh, for crying out loud. It's cabin heat. Carb heat. Oh, for crying out loud. Super professional. Super professional. Why you gotta know your airplane. Alright, yeah, so this has got to be the river east. As the river starts to bend southeast toward continue along the river heading east while gaining altitude. As the river starts to bend southeast towards a bay, you should see a river fork heading northeast. Take the northeastern fork. Alright, so another 2 minutes. 4.25 miles. Alright, so we'll reset this here. Reset, start. There we go. Take the northeastern fork. So it looks like it kind of splits in two up ahead here. And it says take the northeastern fork, and it does look like that one kind of carves up into a valley there. See if we can't get ourselves back to about 3,000. That seemed to work pretty well for the last mountain pass. I feel like we're going in circles here. I feel like we're almost back where we started from. No, I really look to see if the tires turn on the ground. I'm curious to see that, if the tires actually turn once we touch the ground. Put the flaps up, right? Yeah, the flaps are up. There's 2,300. Oh, VFE 81. Yeah, there it is. VFE 81. Max demonstrated crosswind 11 knots. Well, this thing seems to fly like a glider, yeah, so you can kind of see this coming up here, the fork coming up here. There's the southeast fork that leads back to the bay again. And that was, I think, the one that had the island in the middle of it. Down there somewhere. But we're going to take the northeast fork. Take the northeastern fork, thank you. Airplane. Yeah, this thing almost flies a bit like a glider, like she doesn't even want to slow down. You almost need speed brakes on this, which is almost funny in a piston airplane sometimes, but sometimes that's what you need. Yeah, this climbs from right up in the mountains. Follow the river northeast and continue along as it bends northwest. Continue following until the river forks for final time. Take the northern fork, leading to a mountain lake. Okay. Alright, that's probably close enough at this point. Alright, we're going to level off here at 3,000, see if we can fly this valley at 3,000. So, northeast, continues bends northwest. Not too far below the peaks. I should be able to get out of this pretty easily if I get in trouble. I can point the nose skywards and lose a lot of speed to get some altitude pretty quickly. Continue following until the river forks for final time. So this is not even that long, 2.5. So we have to wait till it bends back to the northwest. So probably around this mountain it's going to bend back to the northwest. And then river forks for final time. Take the north fork to a mountain lake. Brr. All right. Well, we're getting there. I assume that's not the north fork, because it said wait till it bends to the northwest first, so I think we're going to go around this mountain right here, then we'll be northwest, and we're looking for a fork, take it north to a mountain lake. And I think that all will be revealed as we pass around this ridge line here. So it looks like there's a little stream that comes out here. Curious to see if that leads to a mountain lake, but that looks like it said the final fork. I don't see a whole lot else that looks very forky up ahead. So I think this is it. I think we're going to take this fork. Up here is going to be the mountain lake. Wow, I'm Imagine the avalanches along here. That is some steep terrain right there. Doesn't really look like anything there, but this looks like a fork up ahead here. Let's see if we can get it in sight here a little better. There's definitely a noticeable river up this valley here, so this is going to put us on a northerly heading if we take this one here, I think. Yeah, it kind of bends through here. Okay, yeah, I think this is... I hope this is the one. One of those... Well, I hope I'm going the right way. Oh, wait. Yep, I see a mountain lake up there. Alright, I think we're going the right way. Mountain River Fork, 231, that's about right. It's supposed to be at 3,000. We kind of gain a little bit of altitude there. Alright, head across the lake and onwards towards the shoreline ahead. Shoreline. 2 minutes and 39 seconds to get to the shoreline. Alright, so this has got to be the mountain lake they're talking about here. Good. Maintaining 3,000. Head northwest at the shoreline, following it around to a river opening on the northwestern bay. Really? The lake doesn't even look that big, to be honest, but okay. Follow the river through the opposite shoreline just before it on the southern bank of the river is a grass runway you can land on. What? Okay. Alright, so northwest shoreline up ahead. Have I made a wrong turn? Because I'm almost heading more east than north up this river here, and I don't see another... Head northwest of the shoreline, follow it around to a river opening on the northwestern bay. Am I going the right way here? I feel like I did not go the right way. I feel like I may have messed this up. I feel like I may have messed this one up here. Follow the river towards the opposite shoreline. Or is it this one here? There's another lake over here. Maybe that's the lake. Let's see if there's a... Follow the river through. Just forward on the southern bank of the river is a cross runway you can land on. I wonder if it's this one here. So hold on, which way am I facing now? Let's explore this mountain lake because I feel like we may have messed this up. First of all, do you see a runway out here? I don't see a runway out here, so this one is a bit bigger. Let's back us up here again here. So, head northwest of the shoreline, follow it around to the river opening on the northwestern bay. So is there a river opening up here? Follow the river through towards the opposite shoreline. On the southern bank of the river is a grass runway you can land on. Alright. This could be it here. This could be the mountain lake we're looking for. We're looking for a little grass strip along the shoreline again here. I am totally lost. Oh, I may have messed this one up royally here. See, there's another fork. Like, there's so many forks that, like, this probably was the lake. So I'm just going to go past it and kind of reorient myself here because I feel like I've messed this up. And I feel like this description is not very good either. Head northwest of the shoreline, following it around to a river opening on the northwestern bay, 9.26 miles. Like, it's a big lake. I have not seen a lake that's that big. There is no mountain lake that's this big here, unless I'm completely in the wrong place. Ah, now I'm starting to get frustrated. Alright, so if this is the lake, and that's kind of a big if. Head northwest of the shoreline, following it around to the river opening on the northwestern bay. But it's like 4 minutes. Like, it wouldn't take you 4 minutes to fly this lake. Something is effed up here. And onwards towards the shoreline ahead. Oh, okay. I get it. It's not the lake shoreline. Head across the lake and onwards to the shoreline ahead. Okay, now I get it. Now I'm back. Okay. I was misreading it. I thought they were talking about the shoreline of this lake. But no, head across the lake and onwards towards the shoreline ahead. That's what they want us to do. Head northwest of the shoreline. Follow it around to a river opening on the northwestern bay. Follow the river toward... Okay, now I got it. Now I got it. Okay. That makes more sense. So we gotta hook a left turn, go like 9-10 miles that way. Okay. Wow. I totally messed that up, but managed to sort of figure it out. Still got gas in the tanks, right? Alright, let's do a little... Wow. Tried to turn it from left to right, and instead I scrolled it the other way. Son of a bugger. Unfortunately, it only hesitated for a second. Okay, so that's what it meant by head to the shoreline. I get it now. So that was probably the lake they were referring to. Okay. Now I got it. For a moment I was about to give up and start again. Say, what did I do? But I think I was reading a little bit too much. But yeah, head across the lake and onwards towards the shoreline. Like, if you would assume, the way this sentence is kind of structured, you would assume it's talking about the shoreline of that lake. Which is not the case, but that's kind of just the way it was. Yeah, maybe it's just me. That's the way I kind of read it. You know, if you're talking about something in a sentence and then you talk about something else, what assumes they're related, especially if it's like you're talking about various things about water, a lake and a shoreline. Well, I would assume you're talking about the shoreline of said lake. Alright, so we hit the shoreline northwest, follow it around to a river opening on the northwestern bay. Okay, so we're not quite heading north, but we're very close to it here. I feel like we're not that far from where we started off either. We flew up and like down this whole thing here. Are we just flying in circles? It's the most hilarious bush trip ever. You end up exactly where you started. Yeah, didn't we start at like an airport like over here? Just flew like all the way along this lake. I don't know. I feel like that's where we started. I do bush trips like I golf. I never follow the intended path. Oh, well, you're the one who's always messing up all the terrain at the golf course. Why are there tire tracks in the lake? Ah, Travis is here. Okay. I'm gonna start this off here. So we're gonna follow the shoreline around to the around to a river opening on the northwestern bay. I'm gonna assume it's probably it down there. And then follow the river through towards the opposite shoreline. Just before it, on the southern bank of the river, is a cross runway you can land on. Okay, so we gotta fly up that valley. That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen here. Alright, let's do it. Northwestern bay, because yeah, I'm pointing kind of northwest, so that's got to be it. We got to follow that river, and then on the southern shore of the river, southern bank of the river, just before it reaches another shoreline. I think I can even see it beyond there. All right, maybe we didn't start. Maybe we started further down, but I feel like we almost started here. No, maybe it was further down when we started. I feel like we're going in circles. Of course it was, because I was circling trying to figure out where I was going. So. Yeah, nicely recovered, thank you. There's nothing like live streaming and realizing you've made a mistake while you're live streaming and you're like, how do I recover this gracefully? Do I give up? And the answer is no. We definitely do not give up. Keep going. Try to figure out how you messed it up and try and figure it out. Alright, so yeah, so basically northwest. Like, I'm thinking that it's talking about this bay and follow that river. There's got to be a river right down there. Because it's really, you can kind of tell it's between these two valleys. And basically, because this is the southern shore, we're going west. So we're going to come up the valley like this and plunk down onto this runway right here like this. So there's got to be a runway up there. Unless it's over here. Let's see here. This is kind of the western bay. I would call it northwestern. Well, we'll fly it, and if we make a mistake, we'll turn around and come back again. I got lots of fuel in the tanks. It's mostly just pride. It's just pride at this point, keeping me on my toes. Once again, I think we're back in a very desolate country. We've passed, I don't think we've passed a single road or building really since we left that that airport. Not the one on the side of the river there, but the one on the shoreline there with the small runway, the big runway, that paved runway. I don't think we've passed a building, let alone a road, since we left that. We are in some very remote, desolate country. And making a hell of a lot of noise as we pass through it. Awesome. Every time I turn away and then the mountain reappears. Turn away, give it a second to unload and reload. Oh. My processor can only do so much. I'm not going to blame it. See, there's not really much of a bay there. I wouldn't really call that a bay. I'd call this a bay. So there's got to be a river at the end of this. I just got to follow it up to its southern, along to its southern shore. Nice, nice, nice. Don't want to stay up too late tonight just because I do have to get up and go to work, although not until quite late in the day tomorrow. You guys are lucky. I may even do some ATC, though. I don't think I'll live stream it, but I may do some ATC during the day just for fun. Alright, there is a river that goes down here. Oh, there is a road, actually. Aha, I think we've run into another road again. It's been a little while since we've seen any signs of civilization. Alright, so fly along this valley. Follow the river through towards the opposite shoreline. Just before it on the southern bank of the river is a grass runway you can land on as a Pardo Airport. Alright, I can kind of see the shoreline there. It's not that far away, so let's start dunking down already and follow this valley nice and low because we don't want to miss this grass strip again. They're usually pretty short. And I am obviously still not good at landing a trail dragger, so I'm going to pull the carb heat this time instead of the cabin heat, because that'll probably be more effective. Not very high quality terrain through here though. It's almost starting to look like old-fashioned P3D land classes. And this road here, it looks a little better than a P3D road cut through here, an FTX Global type road. Back to the old school flying, but I imagine like look at how remote these areas are. Like, it's not an area that's probably getting a whole lot of satellite imagery, not P3D. It's what it's starting to look like, isn't it though? That's, hey, I almost want to check and make sure I'm still online because it's looking pretty crummy. I'm sorry, but very, very basic, very land classy. I mean, P3D was great for what it was. Don't get me wrong, and sometimes you have to go back to that. Alright. So somewhere along the southern shore, I see a couple of openings here. It really is not much of a... It might even be this strip right here. I think it's this strip right here, isn't it? That is really not much of a strip, I tell ya. Alright, let's get the speed back so I can get the flaps out. I think that's it. Speed back and get the flaps out so we can land on it. It does look right, right? Like it's parallel to the river. The other opening just doesn't quite look right. Definitely has trees on both ends, right? Yeah, it's definitely got trees on both ends. Yeah, this has got to be it. I hope. Well, if it's the wrong spot, we'll take off and try it again. That's the joy of flying these bush trips. Alright, there's full flap. I think it's it. It looks about right. Worst airport ever. Well, like I said, like it's almost starting to look like P3D now. Just for the quality of the stuff in here.
500.
Well, if it's not the right spot, I'll take off and try it again. But it's parallel to the river, so it kind of looks a lot like the diagram there. Wow. If this is an airport, or an airstrip, it's pretty basic. Brakes, 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 brakes. Ow. I did it. Boo. I don't even know if that was the right. Boo. Well, that sucked. It really didn't want to stay straight, and I don't know why either. Wait, what is this? This is not where we started, is it? Oh, shoot. I think we should start at the wrong spot here. No, this is the right spot. This is the right spot. Alright. Welcome to my town, population 2. Well, I can never laugh at you again, huh? Because I did it too now. Okay. Let's try this here. Touch my glasses and got like a little fingerprint smudge on them. I hate that. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. It's nothing worse than a smudge on your glasses. Vertical parking. Yeah, except now I got to go and redo this thing again. Hopefully this time I'll find it. At least I know which lake to go to. So that's the that's a good step in the right direction. First of all. All right. Let's make sure the parking brake's off. Flaps are at 1 notch here. All right. Let's try and do it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, we're going to try this again. This might be a signal to end it after this. Alright, let's get those flaps up so we can climb a little faster there. Alright. Let's get that prop RPM back to a climb RPM. I don't even need to start the timers this time. Now I know exactly where to go. Alright. I think that was the right runway though. It looks better here, so it must just be literally that's just the quality of the terrain there. Alright, why is this zoomed out so far? I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it, I just want to be up close. Alright. Try that again. That would be very unpleasant to have nosed it in on that runway because no one's coming to get you for a long time. You're going to be stuck there for a while. Alright, I don't even need to read this. So there's the glacier, it's beautiful. You gotta go up this valley, make the right turn, look back to the left over either of the mountain lakes works. Alright, let's just accelerate here, and we'll do the slow climb to get us up to about 3,000. I didn't even notice the fact that there are GPS coordinates in front of me here. That it's actually counting down and showing that I'm not even looking at that. It's not. It's honestly, it hasn't even entered into my range of vision yet. I am just solely focused. I almost want to just turn this off. Can I just turn? Brightness down on just the screen. That'd be really nice. How about that? Ooh, old school. Don't even have an altimeter now, or an airspeed indicator. Ugh. It'd be nice if we could just have this just a standby gauge. Now that I've noticed that the point bearing information is up there, and I can't unsee it. I think you just get out of your aircraft and sit and wait at the terminal. I mean, rock. Yeah, and how long before the next flight comes in? I don't know, days, weeks, months, years? Doesn't seem like exactly a happening place. That's kind of my point. Is like you might be sitting there on your rock for a long time waiting for someone to notice you and come and pick you up and take you out. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture, but there's a picture of a guy who was out bush camping, and while he was away from his campsite, a bear came and demolished his airplane. He had like a fabric covered Piper Cub, and a bear came and just absolutely demolished the thing. And so what did he do? He managed to get a hold of a buddy and asked him to fly in a whole case of duct tape. And he literally recovered the airplane, wings, fuselage, everything with just duct tape. Almost the entire plane was built solely out of the entire fuselage covering was built, and the wing covering was built entirely out of duct tape, because the bear had just like absolutely shredded the fabric of his airplane, and he flew it back out of the bush, made almost nothing but duct tape. There's a picture of it floating around on the internet somewhere. Alright. Time we gotta follow this fork to the east, we gotta follow the next fork to the northeast, it bears northwest, follow the mountain lake, over the mountain lake to the shoreline, to the northwest bay, follow the river down to the airport on the southern shoreline. I think especially because I've messed it up, I kind of focused a lot on everything that's going on. I don't know why it was... The one thing that was odd about that landing is I don't know why it wanted to go up on one wheel. I was trying to sort of turn it the one way, and it just wanted to roll over, which was not helping me. And there was a little bit of a crosswind, and it was really kind of carrying me. Alright, we'll try it one more time. I managed to not nose over on any other ones, but that one felt pretty short too, in all honesty. That runway felt pretty short. We were not decelerating quickly as we were rolling down it, unfortunately. Alright, so there's the bay again. And yeah, like some of this stuff here is just the textures are really low. I think that's just the nature of the scenery, the underlying scenery here. There's not a lot of satellite imagery of this area of the world, unfortunately. Certainly not high-res satellite imagery that is used in like North America and Europe. Alright. We will finish this one. I think we'll call it a day there and just reevaluate how many legs we got left to do. But I think it's going to be a fun challenge to kind of do over multiple days, multiple sessions, and try and get this whole bush tour done, because it's 800 miles, so it's going to be probably 4 sessions if we're doing 2 to 2.5 hours each. I also got up super early this morning too, so I don't want to also stay up too late for that reason. Going down, didn't mean to go down. Trying to get up to 3,000. 3,000 seemed to work just fine to get us over this pass here. climb any higher. Come on, you can do it. 3,000 feet is all I want. I'm just trying not to lose speed either. I'm trying to now that I know exactly where I'm going, and I don't need the timing, I just kind of want to get there now. There's nothing worse than like you're at the end of the leg and boom, nose over. Right, Travis? Nothing worse than that. Oh. Just gotta have a few external screenshots, hopefully, for the title card for the video. Very high-res background, so maybe zooming in is not the best. Alright, it doesn't matter which mountain lake I go over, because they're both going to lead me to that same spot in the shoreline. I know exactly where to go now. Alright, so that's 3,000. We can probably level off there. That's fine. Doesn't matter if I go over the small mountain lake, because it'll still take me to the same place here. They are some professional looking bush pilots. Bush flying is serious business here. I didn't even notice that. I love it. It's one of those cheap flight training schools. Alright. So I think this was the Falls Valley here, but anyways, it doesn't matter. We'll get over the lake. Will take us where we need to go. Oh, don't pitch down, but it'll start descending on me here. We'll overfly this mountain lake, back to the shoreline, down the river. No circling around this time. Come on. Getting a little bit of a downdraft here, I think. I'm trying to pitch up, it's still not climbing particularly effectively anyways. Alright. Back over wrong mountain lake, because I'm pretty sure this was not the mountain lake. I'm pretty sure that was the one I was supposed to cross. Gotta look your best for these bush trips. Never know who you're gonna bump into. Yeah, some famous celebrity like Captain Nats will be on those bush trips before you know it. You're gonna fly to this airport and find him nosed over in the grass. Do you need some help, sir? No, it's fine. It's fine. I got it all under control. Alright, 3,000 feet is all we need to get through these mountain passes, back down to this shoreline, and back along. This time, really easy on the brakes, but like the trouble was, like it felt like I was not slowing down. I was drifting off towards the trees. Like I felt like I had to hit the brakes to try and stop the airplane, but I was much too aggressive. Gotta be a little more gentle next time. Alright, back down the other side here. Yeah, and just even looking at that original map on the screen of how the path went. So our first airport was way down to the right there. It was down this same body of water, but it was a long way down the right where we started and kind of circled back around. And now we kind of continue in this northwesterly direction for most of the rest of our bush trip here. Not that we're going to do much of it today, but it's funny because then when you sit inside the airplane, they're gone. Where'd they go? They're gone. Nobody even fastens their seatbelts apparently. They're still sitting there. corner across the terrain here because we know where we're going. We're going right to that bay there. We're going to do this one in a fast time now because I've seen it. I know where to go. And it's kind of frustrating to do the replay, but I get what I deserve for nosing over on landing. It still is some phenomenal scenery to look at out there. There's a couple mountains that just don't want to draw until you've looked at them for a couple seconds, and then they draw. The moral is never look away. Never see much wildlife on the terrain in this part of the world. So they probably hear the Super Cub coming. They probably the X-Cub running, coming. They all run because it's not a quiet. Not super loud, but she's definitely a piston four banger. Well-dressed bush line. Alright. Try to not embarrass myself on this one here. Easier said than done. I hope that was the right spot too. I didn't even figure out if that was the right airport because I didn't even we didn't come to a stop or anything. That one mountain there just doesn't like to drop, does it? 3, 2, 1. It's not that it's not trying, it's that it's retexturing after I've turned away. Not one captain, 2 captains. That probably explains the nosing over. The more captains you have, probably the more dangerous the flight is. Alright, just slowly drifting down the hill, up the river valley. Try not to mess it up. If I mess it up again, that's going to be really embarrassing. One's okay. Hopefully I learned my lesson from that one. Alright. Here comes that road again. Follow the road down the valley to the one airstrip in the area. Try to pick up my pride on this arrival here. Alright, preparation for the fact that we are going to cool the engine here shortly. Airbeat's on. Just a little more aggressively here. I should back off a little bit here. We don't need excess speed coming down this valley because we need to plunk it down on this strip. See what I mean about it, like the terrain down here looking very, very basic. Like it really is like a land class. I don't think there's any photo realistic scenery here at all anymore. I think it's all land class based scenery. And that's the thing, is like if you actually remove the data from Microsoft Flight Simulator, you see that that's actually what's at the heart of this sim again. So that aspect of it has not actually gone away, but we've just simply covered it up with satellite imagery now at this point. Alright, I can see the strip. back into a flap range here. A little turbulent between the hills here. I'm assuming it's the only thing that really kind of looks like it parallels that river, which is what the end of the nav log looked like here. It really just kind of parallels the river just before it turns back towards the ocean. Alright, it's gotta be it. Alright, kind of good for flaps 1. I feel like we're dragging it a little bit low this time. Let's go flaps 2. Knots is so slow. I feel like the airplane should have stalled like 50 knots ago, but again, that's all about my frame of reference, right? Alright. No pressure at all, but you mucked it up last time, so try and get it this time. It's funny, like at idle, this plane actually descends like a glider. She's not quite at idle, that's idle. But she doesn't really slow down when she's going down at the speed. Like most airplanes, you need to keep a little bit of power on the approach, but this one's almost power off on the approaches.
500.
I certainly hope this is the right spot. After all this effort to land here, I'd be very annoyed if this was not the right spot. Alright, I'm going to kind of come in at an even lower speed than before, hopefully. Targeting about 50. I'm trying to hit 50, give or take. The stall speed is about 41, so you don't want to go much slower than 50. You don't want to go too much faster than 50 because you don't want to burn up the runway. Don't want to be touching the brakes too much. You want to sightsee, you got it. Yeah. Oh, I got it. Trying to sort of favor just slightly to one side. What I really should be doing is then turning this way a little bit here. Really trying to hit the center of the field a bit better this time, because last time I didn't hit the center of the field. Alright, brakes, but also back pressure at the same time so I don't schmuck it up. And why are we turning again? Oh my god. Ah, why does it keep rolling over sideways? Unless I am hitting the wrong piece of pavement, maybe it is a little further along. I don't know if I have the patience to do it one more time. I really don't. I thought we had nailed that one too. I really did. I really thought we nailed that one. Oh my gosh. Why can't I land that thing? Is it because the terrain's too uneven? I can't tell if there's got to be... I think that's the right piece of pavement, because there's even like the trees are a little bit tight together. I think it's the field, yeah. I don't know why it keeps rolling as we're on the rollout, as we're slowing down. It keeps rolling, and that's what killed me that time. It wasn't even the nose over; it just rolled. Okay, one more time. One more time, but this is I am almost out of patience with this. I just don't want I don't want to give up too easily either. Whoa. Where am I? Whoa. I didn't mean to do that. I don't even know why it brought me back here. That's interesting. Well, what have I got? Okay. Flaps are up. I got full mixture, full heat. That's interesting. Maybe it's not level. Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was wondering as well. No? Okay, yeah, no, I do have full... It didn't feel like I had control of the engine there, but no, I do have full control of the engine. Alright, I've got a different plan. I'm going to swing around and approach it from the other side. That's my plan. I'm kind of happy to continue it from this point because that really kind of annoyed me. But, where am I? Why can I not see? Where's the strip? Okay, so... Yeah, the other thing I'm going to try is I'm just going to try approaching it from the other side. I didn't mean to actually start that from mid-trip, though. That's odd that it started like that. I did not. That was not what I was trying to do at all. And it's funny, because now it looks different. But yeah, I'm going to swing past it and approach it from the other side just because I feel like... I don't know, I feel like the field's not level. I'm not sure why. That it wants to drift. It wanted to roll so much in one particular direction. And is that it there again? But it looks different now. It's loaded like some different texture set or something now. 'Cause that was it. I'm pretty sure that was it. Alright, let's go past it and swing back. Yeah, I feel like it's not level. I'm glad to know that it got you as well, because yeah, there's something going on with this field. It's really kind of wonky. So let's go past it, swing around, and try it from the other side. Maybe we can land it a little better. Because I don't even have like a wind direction indicator, so I'm purely, yeah, that's obviously it. It's weird how it loaded different textures this time. That's really weird. Okay, one last try. This one's for all the marbles, then I'm going to give up anyways. Should probably get the carb heat on before the decools. Pitched down the second I looked away from it there. Alright, there's the first notch of flaps. I've lost the strip altogether out here. Alright, I think I kind of see it carve the little yellow patch there. Approach it any better from this side here. Because that was frustrating. I thought we had nailed it that time. I was not nosing over, but then just the wing just dropped. Alright, let's go full flaps. Minimal speed. Really want to drag it in there at the lowest speed possible, so we got very little speed to burn off on the landing roll. Okay. 47's getting a little slow. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that stall warning horn just starting to go off there. There's also like a nasty crosswind thing going on here, just to kind of make it that much more annoying. So I'm trying to line up with this field here. Every time I get just a tiny bit too much pull. Easy, girl. Easy. Ease her down. Ease her down. Not too close to the tree line, please. All right, this time, I think we nailed it. Oh, thank God. Oh, you know, doing it third time's a charm. Every pilot should get 3 chances at every landing, right? Oh my God. Okay, that was that. I think that's enough for the night. I think I have. Yeah. But, I mean, that was fun. Like, that was lots of fun, and for the most part, that was fun anyways, until the last little bits there. I don't know what was going on. I don't know why it was dropping that wing. That was annoying. But, yeah, the airport is pooched. Yes, thank you. Thank you. You're making me feel a little bit better. I thought we nailed it the second time. I really did. The first time, I'll admit I fucked it. I don't know what happened the second time. But it's weird how it's got a different coloration now and texture than it had the first time. It's almost like this looked like this might be the satellite data, because it's got like a little bit of a lighter strip here, almost like satellite data would have for an airport. And I wonder if that had something to do with it. Maybe it loaded a little better because we were closer to it. But anyways, that's all I got time for. I'm starting to feel tired. That last leg obviously was a little frustrating as well. I'm just going to kind of walk away from it now, come back and do another couple of legs, but hopefully the next leg leads us to a nope, looks like a pretty dismal little grass dirt strip again. So yeah, not seeing too many paved airports down here in Patagonia, unfortunately, but nevertheless, it's still fun. I still enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. You know, little laugh. It's nice that I can do this. I don't have a tail dragger. I'll use that as my excuse. I don't have a tail dragger endorsement. You know, all my tail dragger time is in Sims only. I've never touched a tail dragger in real life. It'd be fun, and I'd like to go and do it sometime, but I'd like some instruction on it too, instead of just doing just nothing. But anyways, yeah, thank you, Tom and GT. Thanks for thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing in the joy, the laughter, the tears, and everything else. But yeah, that's definitely good enough for me for the evening. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I don't know when we'll get another chance to do this, but I'll try to pick some other evening in the next week or so and pick up the next 3 to 4 legs of this bush trip. See if we can do them without nosing the airplane over again. But yeah, and maybe this weekend, if we're lucky, I'll have time for an ATC stream. I don't think it's going to work out based on the timing I think I have this weekend, but nevertheless, stick to the channel, watch the Discord, just make sure you're following me on Twitch and YouTube, and you'll find out when the live streams are. And in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you guys all out there in the virtual skies. Take care.